Hey guys, this is Stuarts, the founder of Property Mates, and we are back for another episode of Behind the Mates, the Property Mates podcast. Today, we are speaking to Stuart, the director of Inspired Insurance Services. Hey, Stuart, how are you doing today?
I'm all right, yourself?
All good, all good. Thank you so much, and thank you so much for coming. We are really excited to have you here. I know you are a bit late. We are a bit late, but congratulations on getting the 2022 Customer Service Award from wordofmouth.com.au.
Thank you. It's a good few years in succession, so we do pride ourselves that we've kept that consistency going with that award as well.
That's absolutely true, and that's very inspiring, I would say. We are also looking to somewhere go towards that website to check it out how it works. So yeah, good. So Stuart, can you tell us something about yourself, Inspired Insurance Services, and what you guys do in general?
Yeah, certainly. Look, basically, I've been in the general insurance industry now for, I think it's probably just over 30 odd years. Starting with a traditional insurer that most people would know. Over here, it's RACWA. In New South Wales, for example, it's the NRMA. There's RACV, places like that. Progressed through there, predominantly in my career being an insurance broker, which is obviously the representative for the clients. I have been an underwriter as well and a estate manager for a hard-to-place Lloyd's underwriting agency. So quite a diverse background. I originally started Inspired Insurance Services in 2006 for the sole purpose of really providing what I believe is the genuine advice and care to the clients we then were successful with. There was a lot of information effectively going out into the market for many, many years, and certainly to the SMEs specifically, that just really didn't gel well for the onus or the emphasis of insurance brokers being there for their clients. Same can be said for what we class as the domestic or the retail market, which a lot of the homeowners, the motor vehicle policies, the investment properties. Again, it was just the information that was filtering through. I mean, a lot of the insurance companies are there to sell their products. When legislation came into effect that insurance companies' employees weren't legally allowed to provide personal advice, if you were to ring an insurer, for example, and say, look, I have a push bike stored at the front of my home, is that covered? Technically, the insurance company's employee couldn't answer that because they're addressing your situation specifically. An insurance broker has to be qualified for both general advice but also personal advice. And that's the key difference for us in our market. So that's where we would actually be able to speak with that client about their specific needs and address those needs. So that's, in essence, that's really why I started the business, because we wanted to focus on the clients. They were the priority, as opposed to, as ironic as it may sound, but the company processes, the financials or anything like that, it was purely service driven. And that's why we do take pride in the awards, because it is a reflection or resemblance of how we're doing with our clients. So exactly, that's having started in 2006. We have just continually progressed on that foundation for year on year, and touch wood, so far still doing extremely successfully.
Yeah. That's incredible, Stuart, I would say. And yeah, something like a boutique service where you take care of your client, you understand their personal needs and what type of things they want to get insured. So yeah, well done. Yeah. All right, moving forward. Can you tell us how you can help people in their buying or selling journey, especially in today's market?
Absolutely. The key aspect, as I just mentioned, is really it's the whole flow of the process for everybody. The best example would be recently we've had a couple of clients that have actually bought properties that have been tenanted. So there's that period where the tenancy agreement's still in place. The client's intention was that they would then move into their properties when the tenancy agreement has expired. So through that, there's actually like 3 or 4 different policies that come into play through that process. The clients themselves may have an existing home and contents policy. So initially they're going to need the investment policy. That investment policy will be there for a period of time and addresses particular risks. When the tenancy agreement then expires and they're moving into the home, their policies may transition over, the landlord's policy may have. So our whole emphasis really is on managing the flow for the clients, so that when they ring, for example, it's a case of, hey, look, we've just bought this investment property. It needs to be insured probably for about 6 months before we move into it. Yep, absolutely. We know exactly what's involved. We then, set the follow-ups, touch base with the clients throughout the time, and we change the policies over to suit when they're, effectively moving into their new home. So, as I said, it really is all about the whole flow of the situation. It's the same with motor vehicles, just in a car yard, just buying a vehicle. We've seen in the media and everything as to, unfortunately, that some of the car yards, their finance and insurance places and how much benefit they kind of get from it. But the same thing is they sell the policy but then have nothing else to do with it. So if the purchaser then has a claim with that motor vehicle, they don't go back to the car yard. They then have to deal with the insurance company. And the insurance company doesn't know them from a bar of soap. They don't realise that they've just bought the car because there's no relationship. Again, it's where, as far as a service provider, that's where we step into it. We know from the purchase of the vehicle, when the client does unfortunately have to make a claim, we're there to manage that claim and everything for them. So that's basically where we are, and that's where our asset is, or our benefit is to our clients.
Okay, yeah, that's good. Yeah, thanks for that. And what are your tips for people that are looking for insurance brokers, just like yours?
The key thing we find is the insurance brokers that really are prepared to spend the time with the clients, A, understanding their needs, B, being able to relate the insurance policies to them in such a way that they are comfortable with understanding. All insurance policy wordings, many industries suffer from jargon, their industry jargon, the technical wording. And exactly that's as much as legislation has tried to encourage insurance wordings to be plain English, as they say, and allegedly user-friendly. Yeah. I'm not sure if you've recently tried to read one. They are still so very, very confusing for people that don't deal with it day in and day out. Yeah. And there's different aspects in the policy wordings that, if people aren't familiar with where to go and what to look for, they can still be very, very challenging. So an insurance broker basically that is prepared to, as I said, spend that time helping clients understand that aspect. We do tend to use, and I certainly personally tend to use, a lot of claims situations to help people understand how an insurance policy actually works. I strongly suggest, as far as when you're choosing a provider, specifically look for one that, can obviously manage the claims as well as the actual policy. You don't want an insurance broker that's just going to tell you to ring the insurer when it comes time to make a claim. That's not really of any benefit to anybody. We encourage that we are the first point of contact, and we try to remain that contact throughout the whole entire process. Reason for that is that some clients, for example, will use words that if you use that word to an insurer, they're going to react a particular way. We actually then clarify the information and know how to convert the customer language to the insurer language. And when we're talking with the insurer, or when we get the email communications from the insurer, we then know how to effectively translate that back to our clients. And hopefully, if we've got time, I'll give you a very quick example. It was a commercial investment property, but I had a client ring and they said, look, my premises is being flooded. And I said, okay. I said, can you describe to me exactly what's happening? And she said, we've got water coming in through the light fixtures in the ceilings. Now, the key point with that is that if the client had rung the insurer and said their premises was being flooded, in all honesty, that claim probably would have been declined because flood wasn't covered on that particular policy. Okay? The key fact, as soon as she said that it was coming through the light fixtures in the ceilings, that's not flood. That's storm damage.
Yeah.
Because obviously it means that the rain's coming through the ceiling or through the roof. That's not flood. So that one simple little word, if you said that direct to the insurer could potentially have gone on the defensive and said, you know what, we're declining the claim because flood's not covered. And the client would potentially have taken that, been very upset, very frustrated, and walked away without challenging the actual aspect of what's happened. So, as I said, that's why we encourage, we're the first point of contact. Clients ring us, they tell us whatever they want, however they want. It's then up to us to actually translate that when we go to the insurer, describe the situation, describe the loss. And to be honest, because we're qualified in both the insurance broking sides and also the insurance underwriting side, we kind of guide the insurers as to what they should be doing and how they should respond to that claim. So by rights, we try to make their work life easier. But at the same time, it's actually benefiting our clients.
Yeah, no, well said. Very well example, because sometimes, to my knowledge as well, natural disasters are not covered in the insurance thing. So, and people might use wrong words. So,
absolutely. And that's, I'll just, if you can, just touch on that point, because exactly that, certainly as far as the eastern states is concerned, it's a very, very critical point. The other fact that we tend to do with our clients is that we do truly understand that it is not purely a financial purchasing decision. Most of the industry regretfully think that the cheapest premium is going to be the best for their client. That's not always the case. So again, it's a priority of understanding, again, a lot about the client, be it a domestic or a retail client or a commercial client, because we do quite a lot in that arena as well. Understanding the priorities, understanding the risks, understanding the localities. We have clients in Victoria and up in Queensland. We've managed situations for them. When we're doing quotes, certainly knowing that storm damage is a big impact and certainly flood is a big impact, we manage the quote process. We get as many quotes as we can. We review the quotes for the client, but we do highlight that, for example, one quote might be, hypothetically, might be $700. Another one might be $900. If we were to purely think that it was a financial-based decision, you would encourage the $700 policy. But if the $700 policy excluded flood, for example, it would be a huge, huge negligence from our perspective. So all we do is we make the client aware that, hey, for $700, yes, you can have this policy, but we do have to highlight that it doesn't cover flood. That may be a medium to high risk for the client's particular area, in which case we would encourage spending the extra $200 and buying a policy that's going to respond in such an incident if it was to occur. So again, it's also about making the clients aware of their options. The final decision always relies on them. It's theirs to make, but really our emphasis comes from the information and having that explained to them so that they're making informed decisions.
Yeah, well said. Well said. That's and the example you gave, it actually happens that, and people should really understand that not every cheapest quote is the best one. Yeah.
Absolutely. As the expression says, the devil's in the detail, and sometimes you get what you pay for. Yeah.
Oh, well said. Thanks, Stuart. So coming at the very end, the special question I want to ask you is, do you have any special offers or special discounts today for all our users or audiences? Yeah.
Look, we do, and at this point in time, what we're going to target specifically for property mates is that absolutely we're more than happy to conduct an insurance review, be it their domestic insurance arrangements for home and contents, investment properties, motor vehicles, anything like that. We can have a look at what their current insurance arrangements are. We can certainly then go and obtain alternative quotes to see how their existing program sits with what's potentially available in the market. We can highlight the pros and the cons of the policies. The same thing's more than happy to have the conversation, be it email, by phone, however the clients choose, have the conversation with them as to where their priorities are, and actually then be able to help and I suppose advise them as to whether the policies they actually have suits with their needs. We are at this stage hoping, but looking forward to also potentially being able to financially benefit Property Mates customers The specific detail on that hasn't quite been finalised at this point in time, but it is another arrangement that we're looking at, but again, specifically for property maintenance.
Thank you, Stuart. That is awesome. Thank you for your time. And yeah, lastly, if you want to get in touch with Stuart and Inspire Insurance Services, just click the link below and they can definitely help. Before we go, show some love for your favorite podcast by leaving us a like or follow on our social media accounts. Thank you, Stuart, for coming today.
All right. Thanks very much for the time.
Thanks, yeah.